no deals really came through, and we called a homeowner for a property in Camp Verde, and he's like, no, I'm not interested in selling, but I work for a trailer park in Sedona, and I know the owners are selling. So then our acquisitions guy went from him to the owners, got connected, did a bunch of underwriting, negotiating, and then we contracted the property.
Wow,
so,
dude, that's insane. It's actually one of the cornerstone questions that we have.
Yep.
Every time we have a conversation with somebody and they don't want to sell, right? And my team is instructed to ask, okay, is there any other properties you would like us to take a look at, or do you know anybody who's selling, a property? We buy commercial, industrial, residential, and they have this little spiel, right, that goes out, and I can't tell you how many leads we've gotten from that.
Yeah, well, we changed our script. We used, people say, hey, your property at 123 Main Street. We don't say that. We just say, hey, do you have a property, a home, or a mobile home that you'd like to sell?
Yep.
Like we don't say the address, because then that could kill the deal for you or the lead.
Yeah, if it's the wrong address,
Correct.
Like, that's not mine, and then boom, you hang up.
Exactly.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's on our script. We call it the $1 million question, and all our VAs are, that's the $1 million question. And this lead came from the $1 million question, which is, do you have any other property to sell?
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the REI Big Shots podcast. Today, our guest is Danny McBrinn. He's based here in Arizona. The guy kills it in mobile homes. He's actually known as the mobile home king. So we want to welcome him to the podcast.
What's up?
Of course, my guest and good friend, Rafael Cortez. I guess we'll get started. Rafael, take it away with that intro. Go ahead.
Let's break the ice. What's up, dude? Good to have you on the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, I one of your niches is mobile homes, and you've done a lot of business. You're always, out there, pretty active. We met a while back, and ever since I met you, I mean, you've been at it, right? Like you've been crafting weird deals and mobile home parks and stuff like that. And I feel like it's one of those niches that people usually kind of pull back from. However, every time I see you, you're going deeper into it. So in your own words, I guess, give us an intro, give us a background. How'd you get started in real estate? And then we'll just pull from there.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thanks for obviously having me on the podcast here. So appreciate you guys setting this up.
For sure.
A little kind of summary. And, you guys know I do a lot of diverse business and stuff. The mobile homes, I've kind of crafted myself more of a niche in, and we've done extremely well off of them. And it's something that a lot of people have kind of slept on and haven't really, gone too far into. So that's why I feel like I've claimed the throne of, the mobile home king per se. It's still self-proclaimed, but
but you guys do good with it. You and your partner Kurt, you guys do kill it.
Yes, we do great, and obviously he's a great partner, and it's a good synergy of doing deals, a good work culture, and that's what it comes down to, is obviously good people that you're working with. So I got into the business, about 5 years ago, and I moved to Arizona 6 years ago. So I had no intention of flipping mobiles or getting into mobiles or anything like that. I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I was in corporate America, but I was always kind of hustling and putting in after hours, working a lot more than the rest. And I moved out here, and I didn't have any intention of getting into real estate. And eventually, when I was sick of my corporate job, I wanted to make more money. How I was going to do that, I have no idea. But I met a guy when I was working at a bar in Scottsdale, and he was like, oh, I work in real estate, because I was trying to figure out what to do with my time during the day. And then that's how I eventually stumbled upon wholesaling and flipping a contract, which I thought was illegal, at one point in time.
So tell us that journey, like how did you get into real estate?
Yeah, so I started working for another investor at one point in time, and I would go and cold call for 10 hours a day. I would get the contracts, and I was pretty much an acquisitions person for a little under a year. And then I broke away from that and started doing it on my own, and that's when I started working with Kurt, and we were getting deals, splitting marketing costs, putting, $500 to $1,000 in a month on leads, splitting our costs, and then acquiring them and then selling them.
So were you guys buying leads, or was that cold calling?
We were buying the lists of data, and then we were cold calling.
Gotcha.
Back to back. We subleased an office in downtown Mesa, maybe 400 or 500 square feet, and we would both call back to back on a triple line dialer.
How was the transition, man? I see. I mean, a lot of people, right, get into real estate, or they start working for somebody, or at a company, right, and then they venture out on their own, and then they get like, oh wow, this is different than what I thought it would be. Like, walk me through that, and then I do want to get into the technical aspect of how you did it, how you sourced the leads, how you started closing, and what worked.
Yeah. So my transition, it wasn't even like I need to leave and start beating my chest because I want to be the guy. It was more, I was just naive enough to do it, in my opinion. It was more like, all right, I'm just going to go and start trying it. I had no intention of, all right, I'm going to scale business, make multiple 7 figures, and think where I'm going to be at, where I'm at today. I never thought that was obviously a thought in my mind, but if somebody wants to transition out, I was more lacking good work culture, good people, and I didn't have that. So I was more seeking, hey, I want to look for something better, a better opportunity. And that's really why I wanted it. And obviously I want to make more money for myself, but I was not used to putting money into something and then waiting 60 to 90 days for a return. So that was a really hard hit for me when I had to know that, hey, I'm putting money into something, and the work that I'm doing today is going to get me paid in about 90 days. So that delayed gratification really smacked me in the face because I was used to that work and get paid. So
when you went out on your own, how long did it take you to land your first deal?
Honestly, I went out on my own and I got 2 deals really quick.
Nice.
But that's because you were doing it for a year, so you already knew the process. You had the sales script. You had the knowledge, so that's huge. I think.
So that was in like the beginning of a year, and then we didn't get any deals for like 4 months.
Oh, really?
And I was ready to completely throw in the towel.
Let me ask you a question, because I think those failures teach us a lesson. What do you think it was that you weren't getting deals in 4 months?
Well, I mean, they all came. It was, I was doing all the right things, but mentally, I wasn't really prepared to, like I said, I'm putting in the work, and then after 4 months we don't get any deals, and then we close about 60, 70 grand in 1 month, and then it was like, damn, I can do this for another 6 months.
Okay,
like I'm good. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna give it another couple months. Like, and I was almost to the point where I was talking with Kurt. I'm like, hey dude, like any day now, I'm just white flag. I'm out of this.
Tapping out.
Tapping out.
It's interesting you mentioned that. I just had a car with a friend of mine. They did 355 last month.
Damn.
Which is really good. And just little, not little deals, like average deals of 30,000, right?
To clarify, somebody who's not in real estate, 355,000.
355,000.
Yeah.
But they were telling me that it's not consistent, which is true. It's in our business. It's really hard to be consistent.
Yeah.
I know very few guys that are consistent. It's tough.
Yes, it's up and down. So, I mean, I was very thankful when those months obviously hit, because then it gave me more time to persevere. But now it's not even a thought. I know I'm fronting money today to get paid more at a later point in time.
Yeah.
You sound like a very systematic type of business owner. I mean, business processes and SOPs and that sort of thing. Is that one of the key things? I mean, have you always been that way, or is that something that you had to learn as you went through it? Because the conversation of KPIs and systems, processes, and automation and delegation.
It drives me crazy. To be honest,
but it's one of those it's one of those things that everybody talks about. However, not a lot of people really get into it.
Yeah.
So
no, I love systems. I love delegating, making life easier, spending time today to save time tomorrow.
Yeah. So
I've always been a little more of a particular person, I guess you could say. I'm not, one that's crazy, beating my chest, go out there and conquer the world. I'm more systematic. Where can I move? What's the best move on the chessboard? That's kind of how I always think, and that's setting up a new system, setting up a new strategy to make the most amount of money possible.
But so it sounds like you're the integrator, but I know you're also a visionary.
Yeah, my PI is a persuader.
Oh, gotcha.
So I know when I met with Gary Harper, because we still do coaching by them. You guys probably know them.
Yeah.
Sharper Consulting. So we've been with them for 2 years, and
solid dude.
Yeah, paid them a lot of money, and gotten a lot of value, and that really helped us put more of the business components together. But my PI is, okay, you can think and put the plan together, and you can also implement the plan. I feel like a lot of people in our space is like, hey, I'm going to go and I got a big mouthpiece. I'm going to run around, talk a lot about stuff in town, but I can't implement anything whatsoever.
We call those arsonists.
Yeah, correct.
The what?
We call them arsonists.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because it's tough to have a business partner.
Yeah.
So what's the dynamic like between you and Kurt? I know Kurt, super nice guy, easygoing, but still, you know, it's hard to have business partners. What's that dynamic like?
Yeah, I would say it's obviously delegating the right thing. I'm not stepping over his toes.
Yeah.
Each person, hey, I have my stuff to take care of. You have your stuff to take care of. And then we combine our resources, our network, and all the deals we do flow into one place. I don't do any deals on my own. He doesn't do any deals on his own for, you know, transaction-wise, for wholesaling stuff, flipping stuff. So we acquire, and him and I are essentially two acquisitions machines that run all of it into one system.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So it's not like I'm out managing 10 flips on my own. He's managing 10 flips on his own.
Yeah.
And then we have stuff running through our wholesaling business, and, you know, you're all over the place.
So you guys both do acquisitions?
We do, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So, I mean, I don't really call people that much anymore. I have a small pipeline of stuff. I'm more checking up on things, auditing. All right, why did this lead get terminated? Hey, let me call him again. If a salesperson, you know, relieved that lead. I'm underwriting mobile homes, social media stuff. So there's always, my foot is always on the pedal to lock deals up.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything after I lock it up.
Gotcha.
I contract the deal, I drop it into our bucket, and then the whole rest of it gets fulfilled with Dispo, TC, all of that.
Yeah.
So you jump into wholesaling, and then you start to see the opportunity. What made you stick with, or not stick, but primarily dig into the side of the mobile homes?
So my first deal ever was a mobile home in Mesa.
Yeah.
And our office is in East Mesa, so it's kind of like so many of the deals are out there in Mesa, and it's kind of right where we planted our flag.
Yeah.
And it was just opportunity after opportunity kept coming with a mobile home where we would wholesale it and make 50, 60 grand, and we're like, holy shit.
Yeah. But I
Holy
think
shit.
talking to Kurt, he said that you guys are doing good, but you guys weren't killing it. And then I think he had mentioned when you guys switched to mobile, just when things really took off for you, correct?
Yeah. So there's and I'll drop a gem here, but there's a cross street, Broadway and Ellsworth and Mesa. We've probably made over $2 million within a quarter-mile radius. Like
Really?
All of the mobile homes and all of the distress, all of the wholesale deals, all of them are in about a quarter-mile to a half-a-mile radius in Mesa.
That's
All of
crazy.
them. And there's not that many.
Why is
So-
that? But why, I'm curious. Why is that?
Pretty interesting.
You have it's a high crime. I mean, we're talking almost a D area.
and the crime
So
grade.
you're
Yeah.
talking foreclosures, you're talking tenants that are beating the shit to the properties. Like, these people they are ready to let these things go.
Gotcha.
I mean, and they're ready to, let them go at a discount because they're so sick of these things.
And Mesa is actually up and coming now. It's being gentrified.
It is, yeah.
Not like the downtown Phoenix.
No.
But it's getting there.
Yeah, I love Mesa. I live in Mesa. It's just, it feels better over there. In my opinion, the Gilbert, Chandler, Tempe, anywhere East Valley is just, that's right. I know you're in the West, but you might have some.
I'm a West Side kid.
thoughts to that, but
Yeah, I'm in Chandler. We always go to Old Town Gilbert or Old Chandler. We love it.
Yeah,
we
I love the Scottsdale. The whole East Valley is kind of where I've always been.
Yeah.
So that's all. You have been out here for more years than I have.
You don't have elote guys on the neighborhood and all that stuff.
No.
Like,
I do miss that in the taco stands. I miss that. I miss that.
that's the West Valley.
But
There
I'll
you
still go to a West Valley for
Feels
a good
like home.
deal.
For a good deal, yeah.
100%.
go. That's awesome. So it really became a thing of opportunity for you guys. So you started seeing opportunity because your office was on the East Valley, and that kind of raised the flag and you leaned into it. I like that, man. I feel like sometimes we can get caught up with the noise of what's the best list, what's the best type of property, what's the best area, what's the best market, what's the best this, that, and the other. When you can have opportunity right in front of you and just ignore it because you're focused on tapping on
But are you only targeting mobiles, or you do other properties as well?
No, we do everything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we did the trailer park. That was a big deal. We just closed the land deal in Mesa. We have a bunch of single families, and we probably have 15 to 20 deals on the board for condos, single families, different array of direct to seller deals. So we never shut that off to go all the way in. It was more something that was perfected and crafted over time.
You kind of focus on it, but it's not exclusive.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's interesting. You just mentioned it, and I was gonna bring it up. You guys, they just closed a $249,000 deal.
It was like a couple dollars short of less than 250 grand.
250.
Nice.
Really upset
Is
me,
that the mobile home park you're talking about?
It was a 36 unit trailer park in Sedona. Probably one of the only trailer parks in Sedona. You'll drive past it every single time if you guys are for the viewers and you guys if
that's
you
nice.
guys are in Sedona. So we got that for 2.75 and sold it for about $3 million.
Gotcha.
And that's what the number.
Tell us about that. How did that come about? Was that a cold call
Where'd you get the
lead, or what
lead?
was that?
Yeah, so I love telling this story. So the lead actually came, we pulled a Northern Arizona list, which was a total bust. Didn't really get any deals off it. Didn't really make any money.
And from PropStream, is that where you got it from?
It wasn't even, I would say, the data provider.
Gotcha.
I think it was ListSource or somewhere.
Okay.
But we got the list, and a couple months went by, and usually we should have a deal in 90 days or so.
Yeah.
You guys probably have similar timelines. But that deal, no deals really came through. And we called a homeowner for a property in Camp Verde, and he's like, no, I'm not interested in selling, but I work for a trailer park in Sedona, and I know the owners are selling. Then our acquisitions guy went from him to the owners, got connected, did a bunch of underwriting, negotiating, and then we contracted the property.
Wow.
So,
Dude, that's insane. It's actually one of the cornerstone questions that we have.
Yep.
Every time we have a conversation with somebody and they don't want to sell, right? And my team is instructed to ask, okay, is there any other properties you would like us to take a look at, or do you know anybody who's selling, a property? We buy commercial, industrial, residential, and they have this little spiel, right, that goes out, and I can't tell you how many leads we've gotten from that.
Yeah, well, we changed our script. We used, people say, hey, your property at 123 Main Street. We don't say that. We just say, hey, do you have a property, a home, or a mobile home that you'd like to sell?
Yep.
Like we don't say the address, because then that could kill the deal for you or the lead.
Yeah, if it's the wrong address,
Correct.
like, that's not mine, and then boom, you hang up.
Exactly.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's on our script. We call it the $1 million question, and all our VAs are, that's the $1 million question. And this lead came from the $1 million question, which is, do you have any other property to sell?
Yeah.
So, and that's why, people are trying to scale operations or get a team, and then they don't actually value the lead that comes in. Or the person they're on the phone with, they don't give two shits about it. Like an opportunity is on the other end of the line every single time.
Yeah, but that Eric Klein says, love the one you're with. He says that all the time, right? It's true. Like, you got to treat every lead as if it's more. Actually, you're the one that told me that, and I share it with my acquisition guys, that you told me you're like, your best acquisition guy, he treats every lead as a good lead.
Yep.
He's not judgmental.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to prejudge your leads. The notes suck or fucking this. Like, every single lead should be treated like it's gold. And that lead was never asked technically the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Do you have any other property to sell?
Yeah. And your best acquisition guys do that. They treat it as like gold, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And the ones that aren't as good don't.
Right. Well, you have to value the leads. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly. Makes total
I like
sense.
that, man. So you started as a solo operation, then you partner up.
Yep.
What does your team look like right now?
So today it's me and a business partner, Kurt, and we have 4 acquisitions people. So full-time, W-2 in office working. We have 1 dispositions person in office, and this is our office in Mesa, here in United
Which
States.
I've been there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have our dispositions person for the back end. We have a TC, and then we have a marketing manager as well. So that marketing manager then manages. We have about 22 VAs.
Yeah.
So we kind of have a hierarchy of the VAs, and they have our marketing manager, and then one VA or 1 or 2 of our VAs are kind of more tenured.
Yeah.
So they manage other people below them, and then we have between those VAs, it's about 14 or 15 callers, 2 texters, some other administration work and stuff like that they work on. So there's about 22 total. So between our in-office in Mesa, and our virtual team, I would say it's about 30 people.
They're about
give or
30
take.
people. Gotcha.
It's a pretty solid size for a team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good size. And then
Yep.
you and Kurt are both under 30, right? Or how do you guys?
I'm 29. Kurt's 33.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
so
so you
he's
guys are
a couple
fairly.
He's like,
Yeah.
I am the baby.
Yeah.
I am the young one.
which is it says a lot. I think it goes. I like to ask the question of age because it goes to show it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. You could do good in this business if you apply yourself.
Yep.
You know.
Dude, I have students that they started when they were 17. Right now, one of them is 19, totally crushing it. The other one is 21.
Well, I met one of your students at his.
multi-million,
Yeah.
dollar operation.
crushing it.
What-
Yeah, kill it.
Well, I met one of your students at his grand opening.
Yeah.
What's his name? Forgot his name. Was it Sergio? I don't remember. He's one of your students, though. He told me that. Oh yeah, Rafael. I took his course,
No.
et cetera, et cetera. So I thought that was pretty
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the age is irrelevant, man. Like if you have the tenacity to get into it, if you have the discipline to really, sit there and start learning the trade and dial for 10 hours a day, you are gonna get it. It becomes a matter of when, not a matter of if this works.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think it takes in two ways? Mentally, right? And then tactically to be successful in this business?
Mentally, I mean, it's really getting used to, like I was saying earlier, it's having a sense of delayed gratification.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. I mean, mentally, you need
like
to know
that.
that, hey, the work I'm putting in today is not going to pay me till 60, 90, 120 days from now.
Yeah.
So people who want, and that's what's messed up about our younger generations, is that people want instant gratification. They want to do something and see the results tomorrow. If you're going to the gym, you're not going to see your muscles grow till 1, 2, 3 months from then. So that's what's messed up about the people today getting in the space, is that, hey, I want to get paid today. I want to make money today. So mentally, you need to be prepared to work and not get paid till a later point in time. And to your other question, which was
Tactically,
I would say being in rooms like this, if you can get yourself in the right rooms, proximity is obviously power, and if you can leverage those relationships to take the elevator and not the stairs, and figure things out quicker than as opposed to hitting your head against the wall by yourself, then you're going to get to where you want to a lot quicker. Getting involved in your coaching program, getting involved in some of the masterminds that we go to, so getting around the people that are doing at a high level is that can be your strategy to figure this business out quicker than doing it on your own.
Yeah, I do think masterminds are huge, and I know you got a thought, but I'll just say this for two reasons: because of what you learn, right? But also the people you meet, because you meet some people and you start to realize he's no better than I am, and then what that does, that motivates you to strive to achieve more.
It's a different set of talents. I feel like everybody has an X factor.
Yeah.
Right? And you get into a room, it's like, man, these guys are like, this person is really good at talking.
Yeah.
I'm really good at systems. I'm really good at this other thing. And you start to, I feel like, you learn, you kind of break out of the shell a lot easier. You have different vantage points that you're seeing things from. Right, like, wow, these people are crushing it on with direct mail, and their operation is different, right? So you start to borrow ideas and borrow perspective. At the same time, you're borrowing experience, but then you're also building that network, dude. Like, you have something. I remember, man, I was a solo, just like the lone wolf, and I was in my cocoon, and I would do deals and just, pound the phones and do all that stuff. One of the biggest opportunities that I got a golf course. I got a golf course at one point, right? So I have the contract.
Golfing. We're talking
Golf course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Awatuki golf course. So I had it under contract as a wholesale deal. And I'm sitting like, I didn't have a network. I didn't have, like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Yeah.
I couldn't move it.
Yeah.
And I got it for like dirt cheap. It was a really, really good opportunity. The guy that came in after me made $1 million on that deal.
Oh, you're kidding.
But I couldn't do anything
jeez.
because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the right rooms. I wasn't having conversations with people who had funding. I wasn't in conversations with people who had, the network, the people that can come in and do a value add on a play like that. I had the asset. I didn't know what to do with it. And it's like, man, I think about moments like that. Like we're missing opportunity every single day whenever we don't put ourselves in those seats.
In those seats, yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you feel was a factor in you guys doing so well?
Our X factor. I mean, I'm a super tenacious guy. I'm a hustler. You know, Kurt's a hustler. It's kind of like, hey, we have a chip on our shoulder for a reason I can't really explain. Probably since I was younger, my wrestling days and all these sports growing up in high school and college. So I've always had a competitive, edge sort of.
So you had an athlete's mentality.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person, like, my mind can't shut off. It's 9 or 10 p.m. and I have to remind myself to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of the mindset that I have. Like, I
think we're all like that.
It's hard for me to shut down, and it is healthy to shut down too. So, but making time to be like, all right, let me get some rest. Let me spend time with a significant other. Not that I have one.
Yeah.
But let me, spend time for me personally. Go to the gym, eat healthy, and do all the right things. So when I do get into my business mode, I can be, a guy that has a 10x effort level.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, to reset. I think on the mindset side too, it's also important. It's very important to do that kind of stuff. I mean, we go at it and we're going hard and trying to figure shit out all the time. But that, it's not necessarily about stopping to smell the roses, but we need a respite as we're going through it.
The thing is too, if you're always grinding and you're not,
you get tired. You get
and you're not celebrating the successes, like you burn out.
Right.
Yeah.
You really do.
And that's my biggest thing. I mean, being healthy. Like, I need to have a clear mind to, do this business in a good way, or else you're not gonna be successful at it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Go ahead.
What's in store for you guys? What do you guys see yourselves within the next maybe 3 to 5 years?
I would say getting to $500K a month consistently is our goal. April, we made over $400,000 with that big deal. This month,
amazing.
Probably about $250,000 made.
What's your average deal size?
Average deal size is about 21,000.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, that's about the average right now. Yeah.
Yep. So,
but you guys are that's 10 deals a month. Plus.
Yep.
That's
10,
good.
yes.
10 closes a month. That's really good,
Yeah,
actually.
it's pretty
good. We have like 15 to 20 on the board right now.
Mm-hmm.
So really getting our closing ratio up and getting to a certain revenue threshold at a certain, obviously, profit margin. So if we get to $500K a month consistently, that's going to be the goal over the next,
Gotcha.
1 to 2 years.
Gotcha.
Anything more than that is obviously doing more of my private lending.
Yeah.
I've been doing those deals and those loans. My goal is to make $60,000 this year off private lending, and I'm about 10,000 from that. So
that's good.
I'm super stoked about that, and that's just my money that's sitting there, getting lent out to other solid investors. So I'm super stoked about that, and I want to continue to do that, and over the years probably get into, as more cash accumulates and piles up, get into bigger deals, like actually being able to take down that 36 unit trailer park in Sedona, being able to take down, just a bigger move, bigger play.
Yeah, I got a question, because you said you had 22 on the board and you guys are closing about 10 a month. That's pretty good. I mean, how are you guys? It seems like your close rate is pretty high. That's higher than most people.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Well, we have an underwriting system, so I'm doing the underwriting. So no salesperson, and if you guys don't have a underwriting system, for those watching, you have to implement something of someone needs to be in tune with the wholesale market, what the deals sell for, so you can confidently lock up the deals properly, because you don't just want to throw a bunch of noodles against the wall and hope something sticks. That's not how you should do the business. So just good underwriting. I'm in tune with the wholesale market. I know what deals sell for. So being able to properly underwrite the deals to make sure that they are priced and sell where they should be and bought where they should be.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Can you give us a quick little breakdown on the main things that you look at when you're underwriting a deal?
So 2 biggest things I always say, which I've been saying for years, is for a wholesale deal is going to be the price point and the occupancy. So 90% of the wholesale deals you're going to want cheaper price points, which is $400K ARVs, after repair value, so the market value of the property, so 400 and below. And ideally, you're going to target absentee owners.
Yeah.
So that's going to be your tenant-occupied properties with the tenant messing it up. That's going to be your inherited homes, maybe the vacant homes. So somewhere where the owner is not living in the property.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Yeah.
80 to 90% of your deals every single time.
But let's say it's someone's watching and they're like, hey, I'm going to try these mobile homes. I'm going to send them over to Danny. Give them some thoughts, some feedback. What do they need to buy them at? What do they need to factor in? Like, because you don't want guys sending you deals, ARVs 300, and they ask you to pay 280, right? So what's a good formula for people to use, and then they say they want to send you a deal?
Yeah, quick formula, obviously getting on Zillow, getting it at 60 to 70% of what Zillow price is, and making sure that the mobile itself is on owned land. It's there's no HOA ideally, and there's no other restrictions for the mobile home itself. So most people, they send me deals of, hey, I got this mobile for 10 grand, and I know it's not a deal because it's not on owned land.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's going to be the biggest X factor for getting a good mobile home deal, is making sure it's on the owned land, no HOA, no age restrictions, and making sure that's something that, hey, it's actually a real estate. It's actually a real estate deal, not just personal property.
Your build doesn't matter?
Well, you can still sell those deals.
Yeah.
We might not buy them, but I can sell them. We buy a lot of the infill lots in Mesa, so there's still an opportunity on every single mobile home.
So a mobile
deal.
home, if it's a 65, you could still,
Oh, yeah,
depending on the price.
depending on the price. It's going to be a lot more discounted, but
Can't finance it. So
Yep. But we're still making 30, 40, 50 grand rips off of,
That's good.
prior to 1976.
You just
mobile
got to buy them.
homes.
You got to buy them a lot cheaper.
You have to buy
What
them
if
a
it
lot
was 50
cheaper.
cents on the dollar?
If it's a single wide built prior to 1976, you're 9 times out of 10 going to need it under 100 grand.
Gotcha.
yeah, that makes sense. Do you look for only stuff that has certificate of affixtures, or do you just buy, for example, if the mobile home is not affixed to the land, but they own the land? Is that something you look at?
If they have the title.
Yeah.
So that if they don't have the title, then you're gonna have to go through like the bonded title process. Which
I've
is
done that. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's like doing a quiet title,
Yeah.
but for a
Yeah.
mobile
It's a
home.
pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it.
Yeah.
But you're always going to want the title, have them go to the DMV, apply for a duplicate title, and then take the title
Gotcha.
and affix it to the land.
Yeah.
Because most people that you sell the deal to are going to need it affixed, or if they're using a hard money lender, they're going to need the property affixed.
Gotcha. So, for example, we pull all our data from PropStream. Let's say someone wants to get into the business, they want to pull a list, they want to send it to you. Like, where do they get the data from? What do you recommend they use? And is there any other indicators that they need to use?
Right. So I recommend going to ListSource to get the raw data. So you go to ListSource, you have, ownership, what do you call it? I'm trying to say this right. 5 years plus of ownership. So you don't want someone that just bought the property.
Yeah.
And you want to do, for your mobile homes, you want to do a minimum lot square footage of about 4,000, because all the non-owned mobile homes are on micro lots.
Yeah.
Like at 500, 1,000, 2,000
Correct.
square feet.
Makes
so
sense. That's a good tip,
if you
actually.
put
That's a
a-
good
Yeah.
tip.
right. If you put a criteria of, hey, the home has to have a minimum square feet of land that it's on, then that's going to wash out all the lease
All
land.
the lease land, yeah.
So doing that, no HOA, no age restrictions, that'll give you a nice raw list of good owned mobile homes on owned land.
Yeah.
And then take that and skip trace it with Data Skip or Batch or a reliable skip tracing company
Gotcha.
to
And-
get the numbers from.
And you don't recommend them you're pulling foreclosures or tax default, any of that stuff, or you just pull everything?
we pull everything.
Yeah. Well, you got
Owner-
how many cold callers do you have?
15.
Okay, so you're calling a lot of data.
A lot of data. We pull probably 20 to 30,000 records a month. We're pulling data every 2 weeks, putting it in the texting platform, putting it in the dialer. We're pulling foreclosures, probates, tax defaults, owner-occupieds, absentee owners, and we're
Gotcha.
just blasting everything that we can.
Gotcha.
And asking our $1 million question, do you have any other property that you're looking to sell? So there's a sale to be made on every single call.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if you're listening, don't sleep on that kind of stuff. I mean, it's that one question at the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Yep.
Yeah, guys,
Truly is.
I think knowing the business, I mean, Danny pretty much gave the formula. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's really no more to it.
No. Let's keep digging.
I mean, is there? I mean, but
I like-
I mean,
this is a
that's
master
the,
class on
I do
mobile
think
homes.
that's the gist of it. I mean, what else is there? I think that's it.
To get good mobile home deals, that's the main underwriting criteria, and then you have to take action. You have to call them.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that people aren't going to do
Yeah.
is
So-
take the action.
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly.
Now, let me ask you a question. Let's say somebody has a mobile home seller, but they can't close them, but the guy wants to sell, and it looks like a good deal. Would you help people then to lock it up, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
If obviously if the deal works and the numbers pencil, then 100%. I'm
Gotcha.
happy to help people, get that deal to the finish line, which I've done for people.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have done the
Yeah.
same many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
What's of major consideration when you're negotiating? So, I mean, you talked about finding the leads, right, for mobile homes and what the process behind that is. But when you're actually negotiating with the sellers, what are some key criteria they'd have to look at for that particular niche?
For the mobile homes itself?
Yeah.
Well, the same factors as before: own land, no HOA, no age restrictions. They're asking, somewhat of a discounted price. Ideally, they're an absentee owner. If they are owner occupied, does the property need work? That's
Yeah.
going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So there's certain check boxes or things that I'm listening for my bells and whistles to go off. Inherited the property, I live in it, but it needs work. There's certain things I want to be hearing in order for it to actually be a deal, actually be worth it to make an offer or go out and see the property.
Yeah. And a big part of making an offer is you got to factor in the rehab costs.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the average rehab cost for a mobile home versus a house from your experience?
I mean, houses, if you're talking a 1,500, 2,000 square foot nicer house, I mean, it's easy to spend 60, 70, 75 grand on something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys have done. Mobiles, you're spending more in the range of 30 to about 50 grand.
Yeah.
So it's a mobile home. You're not talking making it like a luxury flip.
Yeah.
So
But your properties are, I've seen them, they're nice. They're
They
really
are.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you put into, you put in 40,000 into it?
40 to 50,000 on some of these
Yeah.
double wides.
Yeah,
That's
I've seen them.
decked out flip.
Yep. That's a decked out flip, buying at 150, putting in 50 grand, carrying costs, selling costs. I mean, we're all into them. Hopefully for 220, 230, selling them at 300.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
So you want to be right at 220 to make it a good deal.
all in with
All
all
in,
of the
correct.
costs. Because
All in.
things pop up. We're dealing with repairs during the Binzer, during things that once the rehab is done, there's still costs that eat into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
profit margin.
So guys, there's a ton of golden nuggets here as far as mobile home goes. I mean, shoot. I mean, if you get one,
Yeah.
Danny's your guy.
Mobile home masterclass.
Yep. It's a quick summary of a masterclass.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's awesome, man. I love it. Do you have any other questions, Ron?
No, I think the next thing is what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, best way to contact me is going to be on mostly Instagram, so at Danny McBrinn, and you could shoot me a DM or send me information through there. That's going to be the platform that I use the most, and I post a lot of mobile home content and other wholesaling related content.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be the best way to get a hold of me and shoot me a follow and shoot me a DM.
I know Rafael's going to have a question right now,
Yep.
but I like to ask you a question because it is mindset. Like that mindset is huge. You have to have self-belief, and then you got to have tenacity. I think, like you said. That being said, what are a couple books, 2 or 3 books that you recommend that for you really shifted from being a bartender to being a real estate investor and business owner?
So I would say number one is Rich Dad Poor Dad. So understanding the components of where you're at between employed, self-employed. Am I a business owner? Am I an investor? So understanding the quadrants is like your fundamentals. And then once you're done with that, one of my favorites is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. I forget
Harbecker?
Harbecker.
That's
yeah.
Carlos Rey's
So-
favorite book.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite
Fire
books, and it gives you just so much knowledge on where to take your mindset, on how to think about money, how to act, and how to take those principles and put it into real life.
Yeah.
So
Dude, it even goes into managing money.
managing
It covers
money.
so many
Yeah.
different areas. It's a really
Yep.
good book.
What's the third book?
Outwitting the Devil.
Gotcha.
Because that talks about, like how we were saying personally, hey, I got to
Napoleon
stay
Hill.
healthy, I got to have a good mindset. So that book really helps tailor, like, hey, the devil is in all these other things, and that can be your bad habits, that could be the alcohol, that could be the bad relationships.
Yeah.
Like, so we want to, as business owners, be there mentally and focused as much as we can, and getting rid of all those things that take away from our high production is what we want to live by.
Exactly.
And that book really helps ingrain into your mind, like, hey, I got to do the right things so I can then do the right things in business, and then be the best husband, and then be the best father, and all these other traits that are important in our lives.
Yeah. Like they say, leaders are readers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are three very, 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 really, good suggestions on books, man. I love all those 3 books. And for me, the last question is, if you were walking down the street and you ran into your 17-year-old self, what advice would you give that kid?
If I was 17 and I saw myself, I would say, don't worry about going to college. Don't worry about, keeping up with all these trends. I would say if I'm that young, my biggest goal is to make money. And making money is going to be through time starting out. So putting as much time as I can into making money. So that's working my 9-to-5 job. That's then getting a side job at night and maximizing all of my time to then make money. And then using that money to hopefully one day, make more money, which is what I'm doing now. But knowing when you're so young is letting myself know that, hey, my number one asset as a 17-year-old, and any 17-year-old listening, your number one asset is going to be your time.
Yeah.
Because you're not, unless you came from a privileged family or you're blessed enough to have something, but for the average Joe like I was, your number one asset is going to be your time.
Yeah.
So
And at that age, you got a ton of energy, too.
a ton of energy, a ton of time, a ton of testosterone, all the good things that you need to put in a lot of work. So you have to put your nose to the grindstone, and I wasn't going out. Other people were partying and other people were doing stuff, and I was working weekends and Sundays. It did not matter what day it was, I was working. So knowing that, hey, if I could have known that younger, that would have been so much beneficial to me to know that, hey, your time is going to be your number one asset.
I know we're pretty much done, but it's something it kind of clicks that you're very tenacious. What made you that way? What do you think it was about your childhood or your teenage years that made you such a tenacious person? Because that's what I'm picking up on.
Yeah, I would say I always wanted more for myself. That was was the biggest thing. I didn't.
But why? Why did you want more?
Well, we didn't. I didn't come from a rich family, and I was hanging out with other people that had more things and had great lives, and I just always wanted more for myself growing up, and I didn't have those things, but I was fed every night. I had a roof over my head, and I had clothes on my back. So I was beating, and the way I look at that is I'm beating 90% of the competition.
Yeah.
So by those 3 things, I'm already winning.
Yeah.
But I'm not satisfied with that. I want more for myself and a future family to come up and know things that I know today, and hopefully knowing them at a younger age.
So you can't be complacent.
Can't be complacent. I always want to be uncomfortable. I mean, I was wrestling my whole life. I was cutting weight. I was doing crazy things growing up to my body that made maybe something sick in my mind that I transfer to today in the workplace.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's a sickness to it. It's just, you increase your thresholds as you're competing. At this day and age, you're still competing. You're competing against yourself, right? Right now you said you want to hit 500 K a month in such a natural way that there's no doubt in your mind that you're going to get to that point. It's only a matter of time. Right. Now, if you were to talk to like that to, for example, you when you were bartending, I'm sure that the tonality or the doubt might be, might be found in there somewhere, right? But as we push ourselves through the trench, I feel like we build that thicker skin, we build that tenacity even more and more and more, and it doesn't. It just makes us stronger mentally because we have to. Like, you have to endure bigger pains. You have to endure bigger problems. You have to be there for your team, especially when you have a crew of 30 that are depending on the ideas and the effort that you're putting into it. So big kudos on that, man.
Yeah,
Big kudos on
I
that.
appreciate you guys for having me on here and
For sure.
you know, giving some value to obviously
Well, yeah,
the viewers, which
what-
is most important.
Like I mentioned, we want to provide value for people, have people become successful in real estate. So thank you for all the information you shared.
Loved having you,
Appreciate
bro.
you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Bam.
Thank you, sir. Bam.
Fam, there you guys have it. If you're not following Danny, make sure that you do. We're gonna drop the link to his social on the notes below. And remember, it's a two-way street, right? If you have questions, if there's topics that you guys want us to tackle, let us know. And make sure that you subscribe, like, and follow the REI Big Shots podcast. And until the next episode, stay focused. You got this. Let's
Take
go.
care, guys.
Thanks, guys.